Hi, friends. Happy December. I cannot believe that it's already December. It has been a wild year that has been so fast, and also just a very exciting year with lots of really cool things going on in my life, and I'm sure in yours as well. Today, we are going to be building out, or at least getting started on building out, this massive beauty. So we've got the Stranger Things, the Creel house. This releases on January 1st. It is, I believe, 299 US dollars, and I can't remember the other price points, but I can share that in the comments later or in the description later. So we'll be building that out, and we will also be building out, and we'll start with the gift of purchase. So this gift of purchase is the Squawk. If you are a Stranger Things fan, you have probably started to watch season 5, hopefully. The Squawk is a location in season 5 that you see. So we're not going to talk about spoilers for the show. Season 5, we're just going to avoid discussing, but we will be discussing the build as we go. So we'll start with this. And then also we will, at some point, play the word game. So this is going to be our phrase that we're doing. It has 5 letters on top, 3 in the bottom, and then 6 on the bottom. So that'll be kind of the plan for today, which will be lots of fun. But yeah, let me know in the chat who you are, what you're doing, what you're up to, what Lego sets you're really excited about, and we'll have a fun chat today. Thanks for joining. All right, let's dive into the gift of purchase first. So this is the Squawk radio station, 234 pieces, and this will be a gift of purchase for when you purchase the Stranger Things Creel house set, I believe. And yeah, we'll go ahead and dive into this. It's a gift of purchase. Let me double check on that. Usually gifts with purchase don't have a QR code in the corner, so I'm kind of surprised that this one does. So I'm going to double check on if that's a gift of purchase or not, but I think it is. Let's see. Lego 40891. And this shows. Yeah, it doesn't say anything. It says it's not currently available, so I'm guessing this should be a gift of purchase. I would be surprised if it's not. In the description, just talks about it as a collectible set. There's no price listed, so yeah. I'm 99% sure I'm right on that, but we'll see. Hi, Zach. How's it going? We are diving first into the smaller one, so the Squawk set from Stranger Things. Are you a Stranger Things fan? I don't know that we've ever talked about Stranger Things. We have started season 5, and we've gotten, I think, 2 episodes in, so we're not fully there yet. Let's see. I think there's 2 more episodes in volume 1 of season 2. I was talking with Richard on Instagram about this the other day, and he was saying that he's rewatched it over and over and over again and has already watched season 2 or volume 1 twice, which I was like, wow, that's awesome. You've only watched season 1. Oh, interesting. Do you have any interest in continuing, or was there a reason that you stopped at season 1? I did not think that I was going to enjoy it. I don't like things that scare me, and I get scared very easily. But my husband, Philip, had said that he wanted to see it and thought I would enjoy it. And so we watched it together, and I loved it. And I did get scared, and I still loved it. And so we've continued since then, and have really enjoyed watching and catching up each time. I think I've re-seen season 1 and 2 and maybe 3. So for starters, we get Joyce in this fantastic outfit, and she'll be joining us for the first bag. There's a second minifigure that'll be coming as well. And from what I've seen in season 5, I haven't seen Joyce and Hopper interact yet with the Squawk too much, but they are the 2 minifigs that come in this. So I'm curious to see, as the story unfolds, how this shows up and how they show up in the scene specifically. So If you hear beeping in the background, that's because Philip reheated his coffee and left it there, and the microwave is just yelling at us to open it. All right, so this is a nice little fun, easy build. Let's see. Just need to sit down and power through it though. Just got busy, really enjoyed it for sure. And honestly, we had talked about wanting to power through and rewatch the show before season 5 and ended up not because there's so much and we wanted to dive into season 5. Plus, this time of year, if you didn't catch on, we love Christmas and the holidays, and we enjoy lots of cheesy Hallmark movies and Christmas things and all kinds of stuff like that. So because of that, we didn't want to spend all of our time rewatching Stranger Things, but I do imagine that next year we'll rewatch it. So yeah, for sure. You do have the upside down set. Looking for a reason to finally build it. Zach, that is an incredible build. I was able to find it at our Bricks and Minifigs, which is a resale shop here in Austin. They're actually across the US, but we've got 3 in Austin now. And I was so happy to find it. It was not very cheap. It was expensive, but I traded in a number of sets, and this was a couple years ago, maybe 3 years ago. Traded in a number of sets to get it, and I'm so happy I did because it's one of my favorite builds. It's so incredible. Cannot wait for you to build it, and you're very lucky that it's in your backlog because a lot of people are saying, please bring it back. It's really worth it. So that's fun. Are you building anything fun right now or soon? Any big plans for builds? Are you doing any of the challenges on Instagram? I know we'll be doing the Habitat Challenge soon. So always love doing the Habitat Challenges, especially at the holidays. They're so much fun, and it's neat to see what everyone else creates too. And we have a lot of our holiday themed ones still built. And so I just put them out to decorate with as well, which is nice to have. I also just unbuilt, I want to say 23 or 24 habitats that were just sitting in a shelf in my office because I needed that space and I need those bricks. So it took a lot longer than I wanted it to, but we did it while watching one of those cheesy Hallmark movies. So yeah. I see there's others on the chat too. I'd love it if you would just pop in the chat and say hi. Let me know who you are, where you're calling from. Okay, so we're building out basically just kind of the inside structure so far. It looks like this might be a table. I'm guessing this will be the inside of the studio where they're going live on air. So I'll show you those details as we get to more of it. But a relatively simple build so far. Nothing super exciting. Let's see. Oh, my mouse is over there we go. Sorting some 1x1 green and pink tiles for mosaics. That's fun. I love seeing more pink and green showing up. And I'm excited to see how many people use pink and green this year for like holiday themed builds. We have a lot of pink and green bricks now in our house. And so I think those will be showing up pretty prominently in our holiday habitats for sure. So yeah, yay, Philip came and got his coffee, so I don't have to hear the beeping anymore. Let's see. Very excited for this new set. Was amazing you were there for the reveal. Oh my gosh, so cool. I feel so lucky. What can I say? They go together. Yes, they do. Right? It's almost as if that came directly from a movie or a Broadway show. Pink and green go good together. Yeah, the experience of getting to go to Lego Fan Media Days was incredible. I definitely don't take it for granted, and I'm so happy that I got to be there. And what's interesting, yes, I like the correction there. Well, go well together. Yes, they do. I definitely don't want to take that for granted ever. It was such a unique experience, and I was grateful to be there. It was an expensive trip, but it was worth it. And we had a blast getting to travel through Denmark and celebrate our 10-year anniversary, which was fun. But to come back from the celebrating of that and just the fun, like touring, being a tourist, to going to the Lego campus and seeing the headquarters and getting to see some cool new sets, like that was really, really a joy. They let us each prioritize a handful of interviews with set designers, and they didn't tell us too much about them. So like they would tell us that, here's the theme, and a little bit about the set, but like it wasn't enough information for you to know anything. So for instance, I can't say that. Let me think of one I can say. Oh, for instance, there was one that said like Marvel display set. That's all it said. And we would know who the designer was. So they added that information in. So I knew the designer was Aaron from Lego Masters. And I was excited about that one. So I prioritized that one, and I ended up getting an interview with him, which was really cool. So I got to interview Aaron about the new Iron Man set, which I have yet to build. I was planning to build it the other day for review, and I just didn't get around to it because we've been just decorating for the holidays and such. So, and really cleaning because our house is a bit of a disaster. It's getting there. You can see this room is much nicer, which is good. But yeah, we didn't know really what the sets were going to be that we were interviewing people for. So that was really cool because I love the Iron Man one. It's really, really neat. But then also to get to interview Aaron was really cool. He's great. He's so friendly. And we had a good conversation. So I got to interview the designers for I didn't get to interview the designers for the Stranger Things. So it just got to be in the reveal, but not the full interview. But the interviews I think are honestly the coolest part of the Fan Media Days because to me, it's a dream to get to talk with people that are doing a job that I would love. Like it's the coolest job in the world. And to hear their stories of how they got there. Like I interviewed them about their sets, but I also interviewed them about like their AFOL journeys and how they became a Lego designer. And we had, I think, 30 minutes or maybe 25 minutes with each. So it's really, really cool. So yeah, in the reveal, I got to, during the reveals or during the Fan Media Days, I got to interview the designers behind the minifigures. And so that was really fun. And then I also got to interview the designer who did the family Christmas tree, the really giant one. And I got to do that one and the CMF one with my dear friend Simon or Dan. Well, with my dear friend Dan from Two Gay AFOLs. And we had so much fun together in both of those interviews. But in the family Christmas tree one, we actually built a lot of the set using the build together instructions. And that was awesome to get to experience because I'd never done that before. And then afterward, when Philip and I were building it here, I made sure that we did it using the build together instructions because I wanted him to have that experience too. And it is really cool. So I have some content that I'm going to share behind the scenes of that interview. And then also the CMF one. I did get the CMFs to review as well. And so when I share that, I'll also be sharing some other information from that interview. And yeah, it was reveal after reveal. It was really, really busy. My phone is full of videos that I can't share to anybody yet. And that's especially when it was close to the day. It was kind of scary to have all that on my phone because it was like in recent phone. You could find it really easily. And we were at the convention that weekend, and I pulled out my phone to show somebody something that was not related to the reveals at all. It was related to our trip that Philip and I went on before that. And Dan was with me, and he said, "Justin, what are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, no. Because he was wanting to make sure I didn't accidentally spoil something, which was really nice. So it was question answered. Are you going to be posting any of your... Oh, yeah, I am. So yeah, my plan is to share some of that when I get some time to edit it together. So we were at Fan Media Days in October. And then I got back and I had, I think, 2 weeks before we went to New York for the Wicked trip. And those 2 weeks were spent furiously building last minute elements and updates to the build that I needed to for that amazing experience. And so because of that, I did not have any time to edit any of the information. And even during that window, there were a few things that were revealed right away that I was like, oh shoot, I need to like scramble together to quickly pull together content and show people the cool things that we saw. Because the goal is, and this is not necessarily for like, I mean, obviously you want your content to do well, but the main goal was I wanted to make sure that people saw this stuff. Like I had the privilege and opportunity to do this. I want to make sure that I share this with others too, and do my due diligence as a creator with what I was expected to do. So yeah, I think this experience too taught me a lot about like what is fan media days and how do you handle it and approach it and how might I handle it differently in the future. And so that was really helpful too. And I think there's some stuff that I'll change with the way I approach it again if I get lucky enough to get to go again. In terms of how I create content, and then also in terms of how I edit it as soon as I'm home to have it all ready to go, because I don't have anything edited. It's all just the raw footage right now. And so every time we've got a reveal coming up, I'm like, oh shoot, and I need to jump into edit mode. And that just takes time. It's a lot of effort to have to do the editing side of things. And so yeah, I have some plans for like how I would do it differently in the future, which is good. And also the interviews with the designers, because they were so long, I mostly did my videos tall. But those interviews are honestly better for YouTube because they're longer, and not for like YouTube Shorts or for Instagram or whatever, just because they're too long to cut down. And so I'd rather have filmed that sideways so that I could use the sideways footage. And then if I wanted to create it into Shorts, I could crop it in as well. So little things like that where it's like, you don't know until you experience it. So now I know. But yeah, so all that said, actually, let me push pause on what I was going to say and show you this now. So I just finished bag one, and I'm trying to fly through these because I want to make sure that we get to the big set. So here's bag one. The front lobby area is pretty empty right now. That'll be bag 2 and 3. But let's turn it around so you can see the amazingness on the inside. I love that we've got this little thing here on the left, on the right, left. I can't tell which orientation that is for y'all. But this thing here on that sticker, let's see if I can show you. It says applause and 2 other words that I can't figure out right now. So once you watch season 5, you'll understand that reference. There's a light and then a microphone. We've got some kind of audio boards to set up all the live feed, and we have a record player, which is really cool. And I love that printed record. I know that we've been seeing that printed record for a while, but I just am so happy that we're getting another copy of it in this one. I do love getting more and more different vinyls because we have a vinyl player and I play it all the time, and so it's nice to have different ones that have different printing. So it would be nice for us to eventually get another new print for that, but I think that one's such a beautiful one. Oh, and I forgot, there are 2 more stickers to go on here. So I'm going to show you the sticker sheet. So it's really hard to see in below my finger because that's printed in white, but that says WSQK for the squawk. And once I put it on the window, you'll probably be able to see it better. And then this one that looks like an apple core, in my opinion, sideways, that is meant to be like a whiteboard marker that'll be on one of the windows. So let me put those on and then I'll show you those. So yeah. So what I was going to say was I had the amazing opportunity to do the interviews with the CMFs and team, and that was really fun. I want to edit that together and share that content and information because it was just interesting to hear their process of how they create and design those things. And their team is so different than other teams because they're designing more from a graphic design and piece and part design standpoint as opposed to building sets, right? So it's a different approach. But then also, they just were really interesting to talk with, and just yeah, it's so fun to hear kind of how they go about their whole process. So I wanted others to learn as well because it was so interesting to me. And yeah, I'll be sharing some of that. And also, there were some big Ninjago reveals. So I'm wearing my Ninjago 15 hoodie. They gave us these hoodies, and it was such a gift. It was so cool. This is the 15th year of Ninjago, which is wild to me to think that it's been around that long. And they did all of these amazing reveals with Ninjago that you've probably seen lots of people share. So yesterday, I chose to prioritize the reveal stuff of the Stranger Things because my video footage from the Ninjago stuff, the way I would have to crop it based on the way the room was, it just was not working all that well. And there was so much in there that I was like, honestly, I don't think that I'm going to be able to do a good job with sharing this. Plus, lots of other people are sharing it, so you'll see it elsewhere. But I wanted to make sure that I shared the Stranger Things because that one is a show that we watch so like front to back and so excited about. And so yeah, I wanted to prioritize that. And then I missed the reveal window for the CMFs because they give us a time frame and they give you a specific hour, like a minute, an hour that you can post stuff, which makes sense so that we all have the same schedule. And the time was, or the date was set for December 2nd. But when you look at the time, it actually fell on December 1st in the US because the time zones are always listed as UTC, which is the universal time. And then you adapt that to whatever time zone you're in. And for us, with UTC, it ended up putting us back on December 1st. So Philip and I were out at a holiday market, I think, and I opened my Instagram and was like, why are all these people posting about the CMFs? That's tomorrow. And then I realized I was late. So, and that's okay. We're not required to share every single thing. It's more that I just want to make sure that people get to see some of the cool things that we saw. So yeah, done with bag one. Let me show you those stickers again now that they're on. So now you can see WSQK, and it says the Squawk 94.5 FM stereo. And then here's the front one that I don't know if you can see. Let me put my hand behind it. There we go. So that's the whiteboard one. So yeah, really cool so far. Oh, and also I forgot, got to have Joyce in there. So that's the minifig that we got. So let's move on to bag two. Good priority choice. Thank you. I thought so too. When we get to review sets too, we don't get every single thing. So I did get some of the Ninjago stuff, but not all of it, which makes sense because I enjoy Ninjago for the builds and whatnot, but I'm not like the hugest fan, and they try to like prioritize sending us things that connect with our own fandom. And so, Disney is up there for me. That's always a number one, like top priority. Marvel is up there for me as well. Also the Lego icons, which is where Stranger Things falls. Those often are tied to pop culture moments that like Philip and I watch and consume and enjoy. And so I tend to prioritize those as well as some of the art type sets and the botanicals. And then things like modulars, because those are all things that we collect and that we build and share all the time anyway. So also, this is an adorable mug. It is a penguin, and on the inside it says "Snow Much Fun." So that's my coffee this morning. Y'all, we have way too many mugs. It's really embarrassing. Philip and I were going through trying to figure out how to get rid of some because there's so many. And when we travel, we like to go to Starbucks to get the You Are Here mugs. It's just a fun collection, and it's like a nice way to capture our travel experiences. And so we've got an entire drawer full of those. They're beautiful because our drawers pull out, they're lower. So they pull out and you look down on them, and all of them, the insides of them are bright colors. And so it makes for a beautiful drawer. And then below that one is the drawer that we put all of our holiday mugs in. Okay, I'm going to put Hopper's head on, but before I do, I want to show you the print. So here is the print. And it's like a fun bomber jacket. The backside has some nice printing too. In this gift of purchase, both characters have printing just on the front and back of the torsos, but no printing on the arms or legs, which doesn't surprise me with a gift of purchase. Usually we don't get a lot with that. Here's also his face. I'll show you because that's going to be covered with a beard in just a minute. And Joyce, she's got two face prints, one that's very serious and one that looks more scared, which fits. It's very Joyce of them. So good job with that. All right, so Hopper is in here, and my favorite printed part, love this so much. When I say favorite, I mean my favorite maybe in the set. I don't know. But I just think this is so silly. Look at what he gets to hold in his hands. It's the rubber chicken. That is just ridiculous, and I love it. That is just too fun. So we'll set them aside. Ninjago equals great sets and minifigs, though just not another theme I can put money and time towards. Honestly, totally get it. Like and there are so many because they produce set after set after set for Ninjago. It's a line that will always do well for them, I think. So yeah, it'd be next to impossible to be caught up with that all the time. So yeah, I occasionally get some Ninjago sets for review, and I really, when they send them to me, they're usually ones that are tied to their adult lines, which means that they're just like a little bit more of a complicated build. Like one was that stone. The Dragonstone Shrine, which was gorgeous. And that was really fun because they asked all of the creators who got it to have a mindfulness focus and to take the concepts from the season of Ninjago and the discussions around mindfulness in the season and apply that to the way that we built it and mock it up or mod it up. And that was a really cool project. So that was one that I loved. The two that I got this wave, I'm really excited about. So yeah, looking forward to building those and sharing them with y'all. And then ones that I've debated requesting for review. So we can request things for review that are already on store shelves just a couple of times a year. And so ones that I've debated, because I think the build experience would be amazing, is like the Ninjago City ones. But I think they'd be incredible builds and incredible build experiences, but they're so big. And we don't have room for what we already have, and we're still getting more. So, like, I just don't think I can justify that. And as much fun as it would be to build, it just feels like, well, no, I don't know that that's one that I'm going to need to build and have set up. Plus, I'm sure after I built it, I wouldn't want to take it apart. And that would be one that like we would need to take apart. It just wouldn't fit in our space. So yeah, I've avoided those and focused more on like other pop culture ones and botanicals that we didn't get, or maybe some of the Lego idea sets that we didn't get. Zach, what is your favorite theme for Lego? So we talked about all different types of themes, but yeah, I'm curious on which one you love the most. Okay, I'm making a black and white tile floor, and it's using the triangle tiles, which I love. It always creates a very nice texture. And I also want to show you, once I get this next part built, the cool ways that they add the tiles in while still adding in some plates to stabilize some things in there. These tiles, I requested a bunch of for when I was doing the Wicked project, because I have a bunch woven into the skirt. And so I had opportunities to really play with and build with lots of greebling details, which was really cool with that project. And so I learned a ton. And yeah, I had a blast with that whole thing. So, okay, so let me show you. I'm almost at this stopping point. Here we go. So we've got the regular triangle tiles like this, right, that we see. And when you put 4 of them together, it creates a really cool floor that looks like laminate, you know, what we're used to seeing. So here's how it's going on so far. And you can see that the laminate, when you put in a square plate, like we see that line one, it fits perfectly over what one of those half split squares would be with the tiles. But now we're going to put in a 1x2. And I want to show you the genius of Lego designers who created a new part to work with this. So this isn't new this year, but it's a new part that works well. And we have these like kind of split, chipped off 1x2 bricks. I like to call them chipped because they look like there's a little chip or notched out of them. But these fit perfectly on the left and right there, to make it so that that triangle or that diamond shape is still in existence, which I think is awesome. And then you put 2 of the black ones across the bottom. So we put this one here, and we'll put the opposite orientation one there. So really, really cool. What I will say is I have a tub now, not a tub, like a bin, a small one, full of the left and right side of the black version of that, which is nice, but I'd love to have them sorted, and that's a pain to sort. So I have a bin that is like to be sorted, so that it's easier to use in the future. So, but that's also my goal with our Lego room and our space here is I want it as organized as possible. It makes it as easy as possible for me to build mocks and to do projects like the Wicked Project. And so, as time consuming as it can be to do things like sorting a left side from a right side of those different notched pieces, it's, in my opinion, worth it for me. Because it makes it easier when I get into the building phase to just like pull from my stash and start going to town. So we are running out of space in our storage. So that's tough. I think we're going to have to find a way to maybe put some like large amounts of pieces that we have extras of, like in a different room or something, just to have it set aside so that we have access to it when we need it, but we don't need it all the time, if that makes sense. Because yeah, it's impossible to have everything really well sorted in the Lego room. So it's a little bit too small for that. Theme is tricky. I've always been a minifigure kid, so always have gravitated to that, but not necessarily theme. That's fair. I would say when the collectible minifigures came out, that's when I first got really excited about Lego again, about when I kind of came out of the Dark Ages. And so we started to collect all of the minifigures from the Lego movie. Or not all of them. We collected my favorites from that movie. And, oh, I did this one wrong. Did I do that wrong? Or no, I didn't. I did it right. Okay. Anyway, started to collect a lot of the minifigures from that movie. So that was what started us on the kind of collection of minifigures. But yeah, I agree. Like I loved when the Dimensions sets were out, even though I didn't have any game system that would let me play the game. I really enjoyed collecting the minifigures that came with it because so many of them were like pop culture references that we loved. And so we didn't get all of them by any means. There's so many, but we did get quite a few, which was a lot of fun. So, all right. So here you can see we continue to build out the floor, and there's another space for this plate. And I like that they used colorful plates to help you identify where furniture is going to be placed down there. So pretty cool. So if you had to choose, you said 3, you would choose buildings and modular would be your official choice. Okay. 3 and 1 buildings and modular would be your official choice. That's fair. I think a lot for me, I also gravitate towards the like storytelling elements of different sets too. Would have loved the Dragonstone waterfall set. It looked very fun and loved the mindfulness behind it. Absolutely. It is gorgeous, and it's a gorgeous display. And I think it's a perfect one for adults and adult fans of Ninjago. So people who grew up watching the show are now, if you think about it, if they were 12 when the show first started and when those sets first came out, 15 years later, they're now 27. So there are a lot of adults that grew up with and grew up on Ninjago. And it's nice that they now have some sets that kind of match the adult vibe and feel of that. And that the storytelling has continued to grow in terms of maturity. Like, I think that was a really smart move on their part too, to continue to develop things that connect with that audience as they grow older. And then what's fun is now there's like a younger generation of Ninjago fans, and the same goes with Friends. They did a really good job with Friends and keeping that up to speed too, and developing new storylines for younger kids. So I think they've really nailed all of that very well. So, all right. Looks like I'm building a little end table that's very retro. I'll show you in just a moment. And then there's a fun little retro telephone on here too. I'd love to see these. I think that's part of the Stranger Things fun, is just the nostalgia of a lot of the things that you see in the show that if you grew up in the 80s and 90s, you can connect with and remember. So yeah, for me, that's really fun. Okay. Is this all of it? Oh, and there's a little radio. So let me put that on, and then I will show you where we're at. All right, finished out bag 2. So bag 2 built out the floor, this fun retro piece of furniture. I love those little cubbies on the side. That very much feels like the vibe of what I would expect from that type of a furniture. And then of course that phone, which is really fun and retro. And then of course we also got Hopper. So a nice fig, and he's got a rubber chicken, which connects with the squawk. So agree about the CMF line. Brought me out of my dark ages. I've collected series 1. Wow, look at you. So have you collected all the series? That is amazing. We do not have all the series. I think we started collecting them around series 11. I want to say that might have been when I first started to. I mean, after the ones from the Lego Movie. So the Lego Movie really are the ones that got me into it. Philip had got me found me an Emmett and a Lucy, or Wild Style, and put those in my gifts for my birthday that year, which was the right around when the movies came out. And then I got hooked, and after seeing the movie, had to go and find some of my favorites. And so I found, which is arguably my favorite minifig of all time, Larry the Barista. I just have a lot of nostalgia around starting to collect the minifigs at that time, so I think that's why he's still a favorite of mine. But we also found the Abraham Lincoln character, because Philip had been Abraham Lincoln vampire hunter for Halloween that year, so we needed that to represent his costume. And I got the Good Cop, Bad Cop, because I just, loved the movie so much. And then over time have collected most of the ones from that series. I think there's still a few that I'm missing, but yeah, just loved it. Love that movie so much. I wish they would come out with more. I know that the last one didn't do super well, and I get it, but I would love to see them come out with another one. So, did you enjoy Lego Movie? And did you enjoy Lego Movie 2? That's maybe even a better question, because a lot of people did not. I actually loved it, but I also am one who tends to lean towards liking most things. So it's hard for me to watch something and not like it. Also agree, the music for Stranger Things, yes. Oh my gosh, it's so nostalgia filled and so perfect. And like all of those songs and the vibes and everything about that show really brings me back to childhood and makes it even more fun to watch. And I think what's cool is there's kids who are watching with their families and are getting a glimpse into what their parents' childhood might have been like too, which I think is so fun. So that's always neat to see and hear about. I know my nieces and nephews, or my niece and nephews, my brother's kids, they all watched season 5 during Thanksgiving this year. That was like a family watch time, and it just made me so happy to hear that. So I can't wait to catch up so that we can actually chat with them about what they thought about it. One of my nephews, Nolan, is yay! Hi, Richard. Good to see you. I see that your name is different on YouTube from Instagram. That's fun. Happy December and happy Wednesday. Yes. But yeah, one of my nephews, so my brother just moved to North Carolina, and their kids, their 2 younger ones, are still in school. And so one of them will be starting at his new school next week, and might join the live stream today for a little bit, which will be fun. And then the other one is doing online high school right now, in prep for their move. And so now that they've moved, he'll wrap that up. And then I want to say that he'll be headed to his high school in town once next semester starts for him. So yeah, but anyway, they were the ones who watched Stranger Things and had a good time. So fun. Long story about your name. Nice. What are you up to today? What are you building? Anything fun and exciting in your world? And Richard, I think you might know Zach, or vice versa. Zach, you might know Richard, but Richard was on Lego Masters season 2, 3. I always get those two confused. Forgive me for that. With Dave, his buddy, they were the 2, and they did the A to Z of Awesome series, which is by far one of my favorite mock series that I've ever seen. It's so cool, and also did some really cool posters. And so I have a poster of it in my Lego room, which is a disaster, which is why I'm out here building today. So building your refrigerator today at the grocery store. Nice. Good stuff. I hope that you get all that you need from the grocery store, and also maybe get some sweet treats for yourself too. So we had a good visit with our friends over Thanksgiving, and with Philip's parents. They came over to our friend Marianne's house. So she hosted her family and Philip's family, and then our friend Sean. And so all of us had a really good time together. But our friend's fridge broke 2 days before she was supposed to host. So we had to empty out our fridge, make room for the stuff to hold leading up to Thanksgiving, and then bring it over to her house for us to cook. And it was just like, oh my gosh, I felt so bad for her. So it's supposed to be getting fixed soon, and via warranty, hopefully. So hopefully that's the case. Season 2, that's right. Yes. And yeah, just incredible team. I loved watching y'all on season 2. And what I love even more than that, though, is that now I call you friends. Like, you're actual friends of mine, and legitimately great people. So love that we've connected through this amazing online world. So, and would love to someday meet you in person. I don't think we've ever met in person, if I remember. Zach and I get to see each other all the time at Brick Rodeo. So maybe Richard needs to come to Brick Rodeo. Or maybe we need to come to one of the conventions you're at. So this is a really fun couch. And this couch is going in the lobby. So this will be right around here. Richard, to give you a sense, I am working on the build of the squawk, which is the gift of purchase. So it's this one. And so I started with that, and then I'll be diving into the bigger one in just a minute. So let's see. Yeah, fridge breaking down sounds worse than oven breaking down. Oh, honestly, like yes, probably, because you can't store anything. Like, you have to then go out for every meal. That it's a tough scenario. That said, it ended up working out that she was able to kind of borrow our fridge for some of the bigger things that needed to be refrigerated the day before, and then take it to her house and cook. But afterward, it was like, what do we do with all the leftovers? We can't put it in the fridge. And so we had to like package it all up and divvy it up among all of us to take back to our places. And it was just like, Thanksgiving leftovers are some of my favorite things. And so it was really hard to be like, oh my gosh, I hope none of this goes to waste, right? But when you don't have a fridge, it's like, how do you handle some of that? So, all right, we've got a sticker. It says transistor specs. I'm guessing I will learn more about this in season 5. Not really sure yet about what that means, but I'm guessing it has to do with why we've got Hopper and Joyce in the squawk for this gift of purchase. All right, so I'm building out a little bit more furniture. Some fun things here. Oh yes, you'll have time to shop and come back for sure. I'm going to continue to stream as I work my way through this. So yeah, and I haven't been sharing any of these notes up here. I try to be good about that, but I missed them. But thank you so much. And yes, please come back when you're done shopping as well, if you want to. And thank you. Loved watching. Oh, that's so kind of you. It was a pure joy to be on that show, as you know, and my hope is for you that was the case for you as well. And the best thing to come from it is the relationships that we got with our teammates and our cast, all the other contestants. Like, that was such an amazing family that we built. And the second best thing is the audience response. Like, so many incredible kids watched and loved and enjoyed and asked the best questions at Q&As. And it's like, it's such a pure joy to get to experience that now on this side of the show. So that's been so fun. We went to fan media days or we went to, not fan media days, well, yes, that, but also to Scareback Fan Weekend in Denmark. And what was amazing to me was to walk around and look at all the mocks and see how many of the mocks had a Lego Masters build beside it, because that person had been on Lego Masters in their respective season in their country. There are so many versions of Lego Masters all around. And that was so cool to find out, like, oh my gosh, like, so many people have been on this TV show. So that was really, really cool. So yeah, it was neat to see how this is basically a global community too. So, and you may have experienced some of that. I don't know if you've been to Scareback. We would not have been able to go had it not been for Fan Media Days for sure. So, like, I'm super grateful that we had that experience, and that really made it possible for us to go. But I definitely recommend it if you ever have a chance to. So. Can't have the van without the radio station. Exactly, right? I am thrilled that we get both the van in this and also the radio station. And when we saw everything revealed at Fan Media Days, we didn't have the context of season 5. And they also didn't show 4 of the minifigures to us. They kept those top secret. So now I know what they are because they sent the set for review. But even then, when Philip and I were looking at it, we were like, wait, who is this character? So now that we've started season 5, it's coming together. 100% what you gained from the show can't be quantified. Totally. Like, really, really cool. Oh, you've been? Okay, cool. Yes, absolutely agree. Must do for any AFOL. So incredibly cool. Wonderful experience. And just something that can't be replicated. It was so. We get people from around the globe that come to Brick Rodeo, but it's usually like a few people, and not necessarily from all over the globe, because it's hard to travel everywhere, right? So it was really a treat to go to something that was truly international, in the way that we had, or in the amount of people that were there. All right, I am finished with the squawk. Let me show you the final build. Let me put the TV down, and then I'll show you the final build. We get this incredible lobby. I'm loving that curved couch. That's a really interesting and unique build for it. This TV, I love how it has that backside that makes it very enormous, just like all the TVs we had growing up. And on the screen, you can see it says play. So it looks like there's a video in the VCR compartment that might be showing something that we're getting ready to play. We've got that sticker that shows the specs there that I'm sure plays into the story. And we've got on air on that sticker too. And then, of course, the whiteboard markers there and the squawk lettering on the window. And then back here, this is so cool. But we have the inside of the live booth. So really interesting. And I'm loving, after watching episode 1, how we saw the squawk in use and how we saw Steve doing the applause and that kind of thing. So that's what this one is for. So really, really cool, super exciting. And we get 2 fantastic minifigures here. And the great thing is, and they're just going to stand on the couch for now. Also, of course, the rubber chicken. So super fun that we get that printed part. But the great thing is we also get other characters that might play up or show up in the squawk in the larger set. And so you can also swap them out as you'd like to as well. So yeah. Oh, yay. Yes. Let's make it happen. I met probably the most Lego Masters at Scareback. Totally. Yeah, it was a huge crowd, which is really cool. And I got to be on the panel. I was the one from the US season that got to be on the panel, US seasons that was on the panel. And that was so cool. Couch creates a nice point to draw you in. Absolutely. I love the curve. I think it's such a visual, and the color, like, such a smart choice there. So yeah, really, really cool. Super impressed with this, and this will be, I think, if I understand correctly, a gift of purchase, which I'm guessing will be opening weekend of when you buy the set. So I love that it's not required for the rest of the set, because the set is really focused on the Creel house, and everything goes into like how that plays together. But if you're wanting to really have the storytelling details of the full season 5 and whatnot, it makes sense that we would dive into that as well. So I am going to ask y'all if you want to play the word game or if you want to have me dive into the set, and I will do whichever. So the word game is you drop in letters just like Wheel of Fortune, and I pop them up on the screen until we figure out what they are. So I'm not in the lane proper, but I'm going to try to request reviewing it. Oh my gosh, yes. If there's any way that you can review it, that would be incredible. And I think you are a super fan to where it would make sense for you too. One of the things that I love about some of the larger blog type sites that do reviews like Brick Nerd and Brothers Brick is that they've invited different people to review different sets for them, and they've tapped into groups that it would naturally make sense for them to do. So like my friend Jen, Brickfan Builds, they sent them the family tree, the family Christmas tree, and that was so fun to get to see them do it. And I want to say that Brick Nerd sent my friend Aubrey in Utah the night before Christmas, and she's a huge fan. So like, it's even more fun when you get to see people who are like obsessed with a specific fandom or have deep knowledge get to review some of those sets. So sounds good. Enjoy your shopping. Good luck. I hope everything works well. So January 1st, last time you heard, but you could be wrong. Yes, it is available starting January 1st. And the gifted purchase, that would be my assumption too. So, all right, Zach, do you want to do that? Actually, I think I'll save the word game. We can do that for a different time when we have more people. But I do think I will start digging into the big set because it's already been 50 minutes. So I want to make a decent dent in this set today. Assuming that's okay with you. Also, the other thing I was going to do and try out is multi-streaming, where I'm streaming from here and from Instagram. I found out that I can do that with StreamYard, which is the streaming service I currently use. And so I want to test that, and it might be a good way to test it with the word game. So I would say let's build, and maybe when more come in. Yes, agreed. So yeah, if we get to the word game while we're here, great. If we don't, that's fine too. I think the main priority that I wanted to get to was this beauty. So yeah, let's dive in. I'm gonna stand up so I don't cut myself while I'm opening the tape on this. But these, this is in the box style that we get, where you can open it with a top and bottom, and they fold up nicely with less cardboard than what we used to get with Lego sets. And so I like that it reduces the waste, but also it gives you basically like a sorting mechanism for all of the bags, which I think is really nice too. Let's see. Come on. All right. Here we go. So we'll start with unboxing. So like I said, these just fold, and then you can fold those tabs in, and that makes it very easy to recycle. And the base of these also, like the corners of these will fold down as well. So let's pull these out and sort first. So bag 20. There's at least 20 bags based on what I'm seeing here. This is always really noisy. I don't know if it's noisy for y'all with my headphones on. All right. So I'm gonna put these in this other box for now. Okay, so 20. Yeah, it looks like there's going to be 20 boxes or 20 bags total, from what I'm seeing. 2019, 18, 17. I like to put them in backwards order so that it's easy to pull them out or I guess it's not backwards order, but when I sort them for this. I'm sure this is the most exciting thing to watch. 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. I also love that this set is giving me all paper bags, because a lot of the review sets, oh, here's bag 21. So I was wrong. A lot of the review sets they've been sending still have the paper bags. Oh, 22. Is that the last one? Let's find out. Yeah, it looks like 22 bags total. Yeah, okay, quite a few. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, there we go. 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, so 22 bags total. And open the instruction box. We've got these extra bits too. So these pieces that are used for stability for the trees. I learned that at Fan Media Days. That was one of the things that the designer talked about, how it's the first time that they're in reddish brown. Okay, stickers galore. We've got 2 sticker sheets, which I'll show you in a second. We've got 3 instruction books, 2 small ones and 1 very large one. So yeah, large instruction book that has 1 on it, and goes through the house. Instruction book 2 looks like Steve with his car, and instruction book 3 has the squawk car with Jonathan. So we've got those, and then let me zoom in to show you the sticker sheets. So on that note, what do you do with your Lego boxes? Good question. I recycle them. I was saving like the modular boxes and larger set boxes like our T-Rex Escape. And I actually think those are in the back of our closet still, so I need to probably go in and recycle them now that I'm done holding on to them. But the volume of boxes that we have in the house, especially just with like online ordering that a lot of people do now for almost everything, right? There's just so much all the time. So we recycle them. All right, here are the stickers. So we're getting a thing that says spiders. There's a rabbit. There's some things for the squawk and the squawk car. I like this wallpaper type decal sticker. And then over here, we're getting some additional ones, and these look very spooky. And I'm guessing are for when the Creel house turns. And so a lot of this, I think, will be related to that. Which, again, since we're not fully caught up on the series, I'm going to be building out a spooky house that it did play a pretty prominent role in season 4, but it seems like it's going to be in season 5 quite a bit too. And so I think there's some elements that I'll probably build and then find out later what they actually mean. Which it is what it is. So when we saw the reveal and they hid 4 of the minifigures from us and said that they were top secret, I actually wondered if that was something that the Duffer Brothers or Netflix or whomever else was involved in the production required them to do to avoid spoilers, or if that was something they just chose to do to avoid spoilers. I do know that they kept referring to one of the designers as someone who didn't want any spoilers from the show, and so I wondered if that was actually true or if that was a joke. It was never clear to me. But if he didn't want any spoilers and he was working on this, that would be a really big challenge to design a set spoiler-free. He did say that he and the graphic designer lead, so the 2 of them, they got to go to the set and actually got to walk inside the Creel house and experience all of it in person, which I was just amazed by. So, all right, quick vote. Do you want me to start with the vehicles or start on the car or start on the house? If I do the vehicles, I'll probably finish both of those for sure and then get partway into the house. If I start with the house, I probably won't get to the vehicles at all. So let me know where you want me to begin. I guess I could always pause the house too at any time and move on to the vehicles. Actually, I opened bag 1. So maybe I'll just do bag 1 first and then see. All right, so instructions have some great storytelling. Which way is the right side up? That shows lots of fun information. It shows 3 different versions of the house. It shows the 1959 right side up house, the in the upside down house, and then the Vecna's mind layer, which is when it transforms. So I want to show you these real quick. So there's 3 different builds that are shown here. I am guessing that the 1959 house we don't actually build. I think you build it so that it's either in the upside down or Vecna's mind layer, but I'm wondering if there's a way to adapt it. So fine with spoilers on the set show. My fault for not being up to date on the show. That's fair. And then the Creel house talks about how it's featured in season 4 and 5. Enter at your own risk. It shows the history of the Creel house, which I'm not going to read until after we've watched, but it goes from 1959 to 1986. And then it has information from the Lego design team that shows some inside glimpse into like the way that they did some of the mechanisms. So really interesting to see those like prototypes that they had that would help them open up the house in really cool ways. And when we were seeing the reveal, you can hear me audibly gasp when they open it up. It's so cool. Another section that says friends don't lie and is like a profile of all of the different minifigures that are in here. And then we dive into the story. So this says, this place, my home, is now your home too, your sanctuary. And that was said by one Mr. Henry Creel, and we are getting Mr. Whatsit. He is the first character, and he was one of the characters that was listed as a spoiler, so top secret, and we didn't get to know who he was when we saw the reveal at Fan Media Days. Now, obviously, we know because the box art tells you who all the characters are, but then also, of course, like it's been shared about and talked about, and people have been watching the season, so they know. We've seen the first 2 episodes of season 5, so we know a little bit about who he is, but I think this might be the first time this hair has been done in this color. I think it's the Superman hair, but I like that. And he's got a very simple suit on, and just one face print, I think. Yeah, just one face print. And then he's holding a clock, which I believe is going to play into his character in a pretty big way, but we don't know a lot about that yet. So, and then it looks like I'm building a little lamp and a mailbox for him. So this will be for maybe out front of the house, potentially. This is one that I would love to put with a light kit. We sometimes will buy different brands light kits for the sets that we have. Mostly we focused on Winter Village ones because we light up our Winter Village, which I need to get started on building. We have a lot of cleaning that we still have left to do before I can start doing that, which is tough because it takes up a lot of space. And until everything's out of the way, it's hard to begin. And then the build process of the Winter Village always takes longer than I want it to. But we have a lot of fun with it. So your reaction in the reveal video. Yes. And Philip laughed at that too. He was like, I love that I can hear you like gasping. But it was audibly, like it was actually true. It's funny because they told us like, please be careful not to like be too noisy with your reactions during the reveals because they wanted us all to like get good content and not feel like, you know, one person's voice was always in there. And I don't know how to control it. I like to make noise. I don't know. It's just like I'm a loud person when it comes to like my reactions to things. So and then also, I'm holding my phone, so obviously it's louder in my content than hopefully it is in others. But yeah, I just find it funny. Okay, cute little mailbox build. I like that they have the red flag that can go up and down. And then, of course, just a very simple lamppost. So not much to see there. And now we're going to dive into the house. And always the first few bags, I feel like, are not that exciting usually because it's like, oh, yeah, we're just kind of doing some, you know, beginner stuff, nothing like too exciting, and then all of a sudden you hit a point where you're like, oh my gosh, look at this really cool piece. So I like to try and pay attention as I'm building these like bigger or base pieces because I think it's important for everything to sit on a good foundation for Lego sets, especially for ones that move like this one does. You need to make sure that it's stable and can withhold all the movement and things. So while it may not be the most glamorous or sexy part of the build, it's definitely an important piece of the build for sure. So Zach, what sets that have been revealed are you most excited about? There have been like 70 reveals, I think, of sets coming out in January or something. It's a ton. And a lot of them we didn't see at Fan Media Days, which is really surprising to me because we saw a lot. Some of the stuff we saw won't get revealed until like later next year, which is really cool and really fun. And I'll have to remember to edit the content in advance. So even some of my interview sets, actually, the ones where I interviewed people, I've got all this content that like I need to go back through, but it might be a while before I can actually share it. So. Okay, there's a lot of red in this, which I think is mostly how they add different colors in sets to like help you as you're building and make sure that you're putting things in the right places. So I love that they do that, but also I love that they chose red for this one because of the upside down and the way that red features prominently in Stranger Things stuff. So I think that was a good choice for the colors that we're getting in here. And also maybe some of it will show some of those red details when you actually open and transform the sets. This one is definitely top 2. Awesome. That's really cool. This is the one that would be top 2 for me, I think, too. Like, or maybe not top 2, but like for sure up there in the top. Hi, Philip. Happy Wednesday. Philip's my husband. He's in the other room working away because He's working in his office and unable to join for the full live stream, but I'm happy to see you. You just missed Richard from Richard and Dave team on Lego Masters. He's Treatsy. I need to ask him how to pronounce that and what it means, but on Instagram, so you probably know him. But he was here for a little bit and is going to come back. He's grocery shopping. So we were talking about how Marianne's fridge broke and how that's not fun earlier. So, and also talked a little bit about our experience in Denmark and how much fun that was. So, yeah, I have started building out. So I finished building the squawk, which I'll show you in a little bit, maybe at lunchtime. And it's pretty cool. And then I am now starting on the actual house, and it's gonna be more than I can handle in just this one live stream for sure. So I think you're gonna be building some of it with me tonight. Philip was kind of bummed when I told him that I was gonna do this live, but I was like, I have to get through this. We've got a lot of review sets to build, and this is one that I'm really excited about and that I want to be a little bit more timely with. And so he understood and also gets that, this is part of my role as an ambassador, of course, but I think he was a little secretly bummed that he wasn't going to get to build the whole thing with me. So excited that you'll get to build some. Can't wait to turn it into Scrooge's decrepit mansion for Christmas. I love that. I love that so much. And yes, I will let you do that after we finish building it together. So also hearing wonderful things about season 5, and I really feel like we need to prioritize watching the last 2 episodes really soon because it sounds amazing, and also we're going to be building some spoilers, so I'd rather us know what we're building as we're building it as opposed to after. But that may not happen. We'll see. So thank you, Zach. You're sweet. I love getting to share life with Philip. He is incredible and wonderful and funny and fun. And we have a good time building together. And he puts up with the fact that Lego is all over the house. While he's a big fan of Lego, he has to put up with a lot with it being everywhere. So, oh, you're ready. Okay, cool. If you just want to stop work now, we'll stop the live stream and we'll watch it. Just kidding. I know you can't do that. So, but let's watch it tonight, maybe. Oh, and I love the way that this just did emoji. Hands yellow, heart red. Not sure why. I'm sure maybe you're on your phone or something, but it's funny to me how that ended up showing up. And we're going to save, I think we're going to save the word game for later because I do think I want to try doing the streaming from YouTube and Instagram at the same time. And so we can see if that'll work. And if more people can play, because I have a lot of people that are on Instagram that are not on YouTube and vice versa. And so I feel like those communities never interact. And it's interesting because a lot of my time is spent on Instagram. And a lot of the build challenges and things that I do are on Instagram. And so I feel like I want the folks who connect with me here on YouTube to also participate in those ways too. So, so Zach, kudos to you for being in both places. Okay, fine. Yeah, we can watch it later tonight though, if you're down. So, and then let's see. Okay, Zach, so you said this was in the top 2 for you. What's also in your top 2 when you listed your favorite or the sets that you're most excited about? I'm trying to think about what's been revealed and what I can talk about and what I'm most excited about based on what's been revealed. But I would say Creel House was probably one of them for sure. Yeah. It's an emoji. Oh, weird. Okay. That's so funny that on your side you see the emoji, but in maybe it's just the way that StreamYard does it, which is odd because I see the emojis from you, Zach, in here. That's really funny. Okay. Good times, good times. Anyway, yeah, what's the other set that you listed as in your top 2? I wanted to set up, I have my canvas lamp here, and I had planned to have it do over the shoulder view of my of me building. And so I think I'm going to try and turn that on. And we'll see. The challenge that I had was I was afraid it was echoing, and I don't want it to make a lot of noise. So I am going to attempt that in just a second. And please let me know as soon as I start if it's like screaming in your ears, so that I can make it stop. Okay, so this is going to be one of those movement features, I think. Very simple hinge, like not something that's all that surprising, but that's going to connect here. So yeah. Okay, let me turn this on. We'll see if this works. And that way you can see this view as well. All right, let's see. Enter Studio. Paste, Enter Studio. Allow camera and mic access. So I have camera access and I turned off microphone. So that's done. We will enter. All right. Are you hearing echoing? I hear echoing in my ears. And now that I have this on here, are you hearing echoing? I hope you're not. I am, which is really annoying. Okay, good. I'm glad you're not hearing it. Let me see if I can mute myself. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Did that work? No, it didn't work. Okay. It's odd because it's muted, so it shouldn't be echoing in my ears at all. And then the other thing is, I wanted you to see this up close. So here's that. Let me adjust this a little bit. Is this a good view for you, or is it not worth it? Happy either way. So yeah, let me know what you think, and then I'll adjust as we go. Okay, yeah, this is really odd because I'm hearing myself. And it's echoing from when I say things or when I laugh. So it's blurry. Okay, I don't like that. You know what? I'm just going to turn it off. There's no need. I've been debating. Yay, I'm not echoing anymore. Okay, that works. So yeah, I'll just turn that off and not worry about it. I'll just occasionally reach this up and show you to the screen. And I will look into that for next time. I did just buy a new camera that should be coming on the way. And I'm really excited about it. It should give me better quality. And then B, I'm looking into getting a subscription to either StreamYard or a competitor. I'm like trying not to say the word of it in case StreamYard is listening. I don't even know what that means or if that matters, but I want to see, or I want to get that because in doing so, I can increase the resolution for what you're seeing. So right now, I think what you're seeing is 720p, and I think you can go up to 4K with a subscription, which is just better for the quality of what people are able to see. But also you can set it up where instead of inviting a guest like I just did from my phone, I can add a second camera in. And doing a second camera allows me to do it without any of the noise. And so when I was trying to set it up earlier on the web browser on my phone and do it where I had the mic off but the camera on, it kept saying, you're not allowed to do that. And I was like, oh, they're smart. They know what they're doing. So they know how people were getting around that rule before. So thanks for letting me try to do the live stream multi-camera thing and giving me some feedback live. That was helpful. So I appreciate the test run. Let's see. I can do this a little bit too. So the top of my head is cut off and that's okay. I don't think that matters all that much. And then when I'm building, I can be here. And actually I can pull this a little bit more towards me too. So I don't want it too close. Let's see, maybe we'll do that. That might help a little bit too. I should probably chat with Ben about how he does his, because his setup is multi-camera and he does it pretty well. I wonder if he has a subscription to anything for his accounts. So I will make a note to do that. And maybe he'll pop on. Sometimes he does during these live streams. I'm guessing not, since it's more during the workday for him. So for some people that works and for others it doesn't. All right. So yeah, I'm loving that basically I'm building out some of the mechanisms that are going to help with transforming this, but I don't have it in my head yet about like what I'm building and how it's going to work yet. And so I think as I get more into the build, I'll get a little bit more excited about that too. So also now I have to, let's see, I want to put these where that blue thing is out of the way. There we go. Okay. All right. So Zach, you'd mentioned the Albuquerque Brick Convention is going to be earlier this year. Is that the same one that you went to last year? And that either your lug puts on or like one of your friends that's from the lug puts on. I know we've been invited by him to the first one a couple years ago. He sent a message, I think, to everybody that's an ambassador on the Lego Ambassador Network. And we couldn't go that first year. And then this year, I thought it was November. So I'm curious if it's being moved back to July or if that's a different one that you're planning to go to. It would be fun to go sometime. Philip has been to Albuquerque and to New Mexico, and I have not yet. And I would like to go, and it would be fun to see you in your home state. But yeah, if it's the week before rodeo, that's probably not going to happen this year. It's a lot of travel all at once and a lot of time away from home and Penny all at the same time. This year we had a ton of travel, which was great and super fun, but also exhausting and challenging and expensive. So yeah, we'll have to think through. I know you'd mentioned you were looking into Cascade, which Philip and I have looked into as well. We have talked about wanting to do the one in LA, but the timing is tough. And I mentioned this to you the other day, but that we've got our friend who's it's her 40th and wanted to do a big trip for her birthday. And so that may result in us not even being available to travel at that time for that. So I don't think we'll be able to make it unless things change with that trip. But yeah, we would love to go eventually. When Bricks LA existed before, that was one that our friends who went every year told us, you would love Bricks LA. It is all pop culture. It's so much fun. And I think that we would have loved it. And so we were super bummed when it got canceled because the folks who ran it moved. And so that was a huge bummer. So I was excited to hear that Chip is starting that back up with Brickcentric or Bricks-A-Go-Go. No, I think it's now Brickcentric. I forget the name. It's changed one too many times for me to remember exactly what it was going to be. But yeah, so it'll be on the list to eventually go if we don't get to go this year, but it'd be fun to go this year if we can. All right, it looks like maybe I'm building some cobblestones. This might be the front entrance of the house. I'll show you in just a second where I'm at. So, and here we're using lots of yellow for the like extra pop of color, which I'm guessing is just to, again, help us make sure that we're building everything correctly. But it's always interesting to see what colors they use for this. So far it looks like yellow and red are those extra pops of color. Again, noting that the red might be because of Vecna and the whole Stranger Things colors and such. So, all right, what do we have next? So we're building, yeah, this is definitely the front door step. Either front door step or back doors, but I think it's the front because the back, I believe, is just like an open dollhouse style, or not dollhouse style because it doesn't actually have a cover. I think it's just like an open back. Almost done with this, and then I'll show you. All right. Okay, so yeah, looks like this is going to be a front door type setup. All right, so here's what we built. So yeah, you can see these steps going up and the little cobblestone there, and that'll spin open. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes. All right, it's all the same. It was again this year back in early November. Next year will be moved to July. So the first year, was it in, oh, I have two more pieces that somehow need to go in here. Oh, they're on the steps. I had missed those. Here we go. Let's get these in and then we'll jump to bag 2. All right. We are 1/22 of the way through. Diving into bag 2. This is going to be a very large set, I think. So yes, Philip, I support changing this into Scrooge's Haunted Mansion because it needs to be up at Christmas time. Yeah, did it move? Like, was it August the first year? What was it the first year? I feel like it was right after rodeo, the first year, but maybe I'm wrong. Also, I know when everybody plans their events that they likely often take into consideration when the other events are happening around the world to try and avoid people not being able to travel to all the different things and all that kind of stuff. And we're all competing-ish for the same type of audience, right? And so I think that's a challenge with this. But it's hard when one of the conventions moves their dates to another time. So like rodeo just did that this year. And it sounds like that's happening with the Albuquerque one or New Mexico one. And we're getting that new one with Brickcentric coming in. And so lots of change that's going to affect the way that they all connect and interact. And I think it's fun to get to see people at different conventions, which is always fun, right? But it gets increasingly harder to do that when there are more and more events competing for our time and attention. And then also when travel is so expensive that you have to kind of prioritize what it is you're able to go to. So, so it's always been in Albuquerque, ironically in the area of the International Balloon Fiesta, of course, which makes sense. I'm sure there's lots of like event space and such there. So it makes sense to have it all in that same space. But I'm sure that also makes it hard to find the time to host the event and have people be able to attend and everything, because you're also competing with when other people are going to be traveling to that area, so that you know when can you get the convention area. I know that was part of why we did 4th of July for the past with Brick Rodeo, was because it was a little bit cheaper to get some of the things, because a lot of people weren't doing conventions during that time. But then that also resulted in some people saying, I can't travel because that's like a family time, and we, are spending that time with family elsewhere. So you end up losing out on audiences too. So if it's not one thing, it's another. It's, all of these things are tough to have to navigate and plan. In the past, I've been involved with planning Brick Rodeo, and the last 2 years, last year and this year, I'm not. I support it, and our lug is heavily involved. And so there's elements that I'll volunteer for and whatnot, but it just got to where it was a little bit too much to handle in addition to everyday life responsibilities too. So I'm glad that we have a great team of people that plan it and put it on. And by no means was it just me. It was a huge team at the time too when I was involved. But it's nice to also share the load of that too. So first year it was early fall. I can't remember if it was in September or November. I thought so. Like, I didn't remember the exact dates, but I remember it being sometime after Brick Rodeo. So I thought it was early fall. And yeah, really wanting to go, but it was like, we just can't swing it. We had already, we didn't even know about it until like 2 months before it, I think. And so at that point, we'd already made our travel plans and spent a lot of our travel budget on other things too. So we've also been running into like other family travel, like kids' graduations. We have nieces and nephews that are all graduating 1 year right after the other, over and over and over again. And we're so proud of them all. And we want to celebrate each and every one of them. So that's always important to do, but it's challenging to do and to fit in with all the other travel and everything too. So that obviously gets prioritized over Lego travel and also just over vacation travel. And then also we like to have vacations that are not just Lego all the time. So get with me sometime later and I'll fill you in with the info. Awesome. Yeah, that would be great. It'd be nice to hear a little bit more about it too. So yeah. Oh yeah, so I'd asked you what your other top choice was, you said maybe botanicals, I think. Agreed. The botanical line, the stuff that's coming out is gorgeous. It's really, really pretty. One that we didn't see at Fan Media Days that was revealed that I was shocked about, but super excited for, is the new Paris one. That is beautiful and such an interesting and new way of doing like architecture type sets. So that was exciting to see revealed. And I'm hopeful that we'll get some additional cities in that same type of style. But Paris is such an iconic city for people to want to have some type of memory from visiting. And so I can see that doing really well. And so that's one that I think will be really fun. We talked about going to Paris for our friend's birthday. So that was the potential big trip that we might take. And if we do, then of course we'll need that one. So, but yeah, that was just such a beautiful set. Or looks like it'll be such a beautiful set. And yeah, since it's listed as, I think it's listed as an architecture set, it makes me excited to see, like, is this a future of what we'll see with that line? Is that line kind of coming back? I know we had those postcards in the last couple of years, and those have been really pretty too, and at a lower price point, which I think is very important because when people travel, they don't want to necessarily always spend all their money on just a Lego set to represent their trip, but maybe just the smaller postcard, and a lot of people don't have the space for larger sets. But this seems like a nice option to get something a little bit bigger to represent some of those trips that people will take. So the fact that you guys have a board members that run Brick Rodeos definitely shows because it's such an amazing con. That's awesome to hear. I really, really love hearing that. Having been involved in the planning of it, of course, for a while, but then also just really valuing hearing positive feedback from people who experience it. So it's really encouraging to hear when people have a good experience. And also I want to hear when people don't have a good experience so that we can fix it. You know, I think that's been something that I've been impressed with Brick Rodeo is the team of people who plan it really want to make sure that it's a great user experience. And so we do want to hear that type of feedback. And in my opinion, we take good action on the feedback that we get. I will also say sometimes people ask for things that are ridiculous. And I think that's just a part of life in general. And so you also have to be able to have a little bit of a thick skin because some people are going to complain about everything. And that happens. But I would say overall, though, most people have been generous and kind with their feedback and helpful and actionable with their feedback, too. So, you know, I love when people provide feedback and if they have an idea of a suggestion on how to fix it, provide that suggestion, too. I think that's always a good way to approach feedback is coming with it being a little bit more solution oriented and also coming with it without demanding, because I think sometimes people like to demand that things go a certain way as opposed to recognize that your feedback is but one piece of many. All right, this will go. Interesting. So now we're using blue for the hidden color here. Okay, this is an interesting section though. I'm liking this curved little opening, and I'm curious what that will be for. Not exactly sure. But yeah, having the board also helps in some ways with like continuity, so that we're able to keep some things consistent from year to year. But I will also say that there's an element there of not continuity all the time too, in ways that it has to be exactly identical. What I mean by that is the group that plans it in Houston is different than the group that plans it in Austin. And so that results in it looking and feeling a little bit different each time too. And I think that's a really good thing. All right, let me take a second to figure this out because this is really confusing. Okay, so this is cool. So we built this section that has this really unique opening. We built this section that hinges. Now, this one is overlaying on top of this one in a way that has, like, that's cool. So this part is going inside there, and that way when it opens, oh, okay, cool. This is not very stable because it's not fully built, but watch. When I pull that, that is cool. Okay, that's pretty sweet. So that doesn't stud down because it just rests on top. Okay, that is freaking cool. Yeah, and having it on the table, you can see. Okay, good job, Lego designers. That is amazing. Penny, get up there. Penny, our dog, loves to sit on this couch, but her new thing is to scratch the couch when she wants to get up instead of just to jump up. And it's like she needs permission. Hey, girl, come on, get up here. Come on. Yay! You have to cheer her on. She just needs all of that joy and attention and everything. Also, while I'm up, let me see if I can show you the back of this hoodie. So, like I said, the hoodie has that like Ninjago 15 on it, but look at the back. Yay! So cool. It's also the most comfortable hoodie I've ever worn. I want to know where Lego buys their products for things like this because, oh my gosh, it's so cool. Yeah, let's see. Board continuity, fascinating. This is helpful for next year. I had another lug member go for the first time to rodeo this year and you had a great time. Yay, that's awesome to hear. But yeah, so what I was saying was like the board helps make sure that there's elements of continuity that stay. And also we allow for, or there's freedom for there to be some opportunity for people to kind of experience and make changes that they want to make and kind of put their stamp on it when they're running it as well. So we keep elements of continuity and we also allow for some freedom for things to change. And I think having different co-chairs for the different options, if it's in Austin versus Houston, helps with some of that, which is fun. Okay, now I am covering up a lot of what I just built to keep that like hidden in the floor, which is really cool. And that's also going to keep it from falling apart. So anyway, that allows for making sure that there's like some continuity and that the experience is good no matter where you try or where you go to Austin or Houston, but also that it feels a little bit unique and different. And then I would also say because of that, it still has a little bit of its own feel when it's in Austin versus when it's in Houston. And I think that's a good thing. I think that ends up being a little bit fun for people to kind of make an informed decision on, I want to try it when it's in Austin because I've heard this about it or whatever. But it's not so different that, it feels like a totally different convention, in my opinion. I'm always curious to hear other people's perspectives on that too. All right, y'all, this is so cool. If bags 1 and 2 are this cool so far, I cannot wait to continue building through this because this is just amazing. All right, I'm going to hold this up again so you can see. It has such a satisfying click too. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. So this is going to be how it opens to reveal some of the scary. And you can see like that little bit of red is showing through. So most of the red got hidden and all of the yellow and all of the blue looks like it's going to be hidden, which is good. So, but yeah, all right, let's do bag 3. What time is it? 12:34. Yeah. Let's dive into bag 3. We'll continue this a little bit more and see where we get. All right, this bag, it looks like the secret color is green. I do like that they're changing it up each time, especially if someone were to ever part this out and use it for their own pieces. You'd be getting a lot of fun little pops of color here and there. That said, I highly don't imagine that we'll ever take this one apart. It's way too cool and will probably just always be on display. And the play elements, like this is really cool. All right, so getting another fig in here. This is Lucas, I think. And I'll put them together and then I'll show you his face prints first before I put his hair on. So here's his torso. So I like that open jacket type torso. Here's the back of it and his other face print that's a little bit more angry. He is getting black hair and he's getting a flashlight and binoculars. And a fun thing that the designer said was that when they did the design for the characters, they were able to talk with the costumers for the show. And because of that, we're able to be as specific and clear as possible on making sure that the outfits matched the characters, which I think is amazing. That is so incredibly cool. Are there multiple lugs in Austin, or is it primarily Tex Lug Austin? Good question. We have one lug in Austin, officially Tex Lug Austin. Tex Lug is technically statewide, and so there's Houston Brick Club, Tex Lug Austin, Tex Lug or DFW Lug, Tex Lug San Antonio. Those are, we don't use this language, but more or less the 4 chapters of Tex Lug. And there's a 5th chapter of Tex Lug that's not specific to one location per se, called Texas Brick Railroad. So that is another lug that I wouldn't say it's in Austin. I would say it's like central or north central Texas. I'd have to ask them and see how they define themselves and their placement, because they are location based, but their primary focus is railroad builds. And they're the ones, when you go to Brick Rodeo, that have the huge railroad setup. That's almost always entirely done by Brick Railroad, Texas Brick Railroad, TBRR is their initials. And so I think they are considered a chapter, if we used that language again, of Tex Lug. And so I think they also have representation on the board, because there is a Tex Lug board, I think, and then there is a Brick Rodeo board, I think. Maybe there's just a Brick Rodeo board, but I thought there was one for both. Or maybe it is one and the same. But yeah, so that kind of makes up then the lugs in our area. We have people who are involved in multiple. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of overlap between Texas Brick Railroad and the other lugs that we have too. So a lot of our members are also part of that one. But yeah, and then I think all of them are officially recognized lugs individually. So I'm not exactly sure, but I want to say that I've seen representatives from all 5 of those locations in the Lego Ambassador Network. So if that's the case, then yeah, we definitely have representation everywhere, which is good, because we want to hear as many voices as possible. I know that the Lego Ambassador Network has I know that there are lots of lugs that exist that aren't officially recognized either yet or won't be ever. Some of them do that by choice. Some of them maybe just haven't applied yet, or maybe they have applied and there's just something that's like in the way with them being able to do it. I'm not exactly sure yet. So I think I always ask you this question because I get confused if you guys are all part of the same lug, but chapters make sense. It is very confusing. It's super confusing. And we are technically all a part of Tex Lug across the state. But I think the way that the Lego Ambassador Network looks at us, they look at us as 5 different groups. And I think the way that we look at us is that we are all a part of the same thing, but we just have different chapters. So I don't know if that's all officially 100% true, but that's my brief understanding of it. So I do know, though, that yeah, there's a lot of overlap between Texas Brick Railroad and the other lugs, just because there's a lot of people who have multiple different interests, and most of the other lugs don't really do railroad stuff specifically. So yeah. What about Albuquerque? New Mexico. Are there multiple lugs for New Mexico? Like, I would think that it's big enough of a state that you could have lugs in Santa Fe and in Albuquerque, because that's 2 hours apart? Is that right? Hour and a half? You had a good group of the newly formed El Paso lug from Texas. Oh, interesting. That were involved in your so were those people involved in your lug before? I could see that, because distance-wise, they're closer there than they are to any of the other lugs across Texas. And El Paso should have its own lug, in my opinion. That would make sense, for sure. Or should be connected to y'all. But it is interesting, because then it's across state lines, which would be interesting to see like how that all comes together. I've had friends who lived in El Paso who would love going to Albuquerque and Santa Fe, because it was right there, and it was like, oh, that would be such a dream to get to be able to go so close. I've not been to El Paso before, and I have been through New Mexico, but I haven't really been there, at least not as an adult. So definitely on my wish list. The trip that Philip took without me was because of Lego Masters, which was super annoying that it fell at the same time. But we were, I think I've told you this, but we had been planning to go together to New Mexico in May of 2022. Philip got a new job and he had a brief amount of time off before the new job started. And we decided, let's just do a quick trip, and planned a quick trip to New Mexico. We're super excited to explore and have fun. It was very much last minute, as like Philip's job was on a break, or he was on a break between jobs. And then I got COVID and I was so angry that I had to miss it. And we were able to postpone the trip, and we were able to do things like get our hotel stay to where we could come back a different time and use it. Like, they gave us a credit, but we had to use it within a year, and all this stuff. And so we replanned it to be for the Bloom Festival, which is honestly was even more exciting. We really wanted to go. And we were so excited and couldn't wait. And we were planning this trip. And then Lego Masters decided to film when they did. And it threw everything off. And we already had everything rebooked and planned. And so Philip went on the trip without me. With my blessing, of course. Just like with his blessing, I went on Lego Masters without him. And I was so bummed. And also, then we couldn't tell people that I wasn't with him. So, yeah. Right? Yeah. Philip, yeah, he shared that with you. Yes, we had to lie, and I didn't like it. And lying is not fun. And had to pretend like I was there with him on the trip, because a lot of the people in my life and on social media knew that I had been auditioning for Lego Masters and were wanting to know if I was on it. And the show made me so scared with the NDA that I was like, I have to make sure no one finds out. And so, yeah, we had to be silly and have a little bit of a fib, but it was for a good reason. But yeah, I always felt really bad, specifically for you, Zach, in particular, because you'd reached out and you were like, oh my gosh, let's get together while I'm here at the Balloon Festival too. And I was like, oh no, we look like jerks. I promise we're not jerks. We're just having to keep a stupid secret. So, but all that said, now it's still on my to go to visit list, and Philip wants to go back again. So we'll have to make that happen eventually. I do really, really, really want to go for the Balloon Festival. That would be amazing. So that's my hope when we go again, that it would be during that time again, but we'll see. So yeah, also COVID is the worst, and I was so upset that I had it. And also that time when I had it was when Paxlovid was new, and my doctor recommended that I take it, which was a good recommendation. I mean, he was going off of what he knew, and it ended up making me have COVID twice, back to back. And so I ended up being sick with a recurrence of all the symptoms, worse the second time around, for 21 days, I think. It was really rough. All right, so this goes here, and this one also is going to slide. Ah, that's cool. So let me just show you. It's like, it seems really odd what you're building at the time, but essentially what you're building is these pathways that have these tile floors, so that things can slide through easily. So once this all goes on, we're going to cover it with some plates on top, and that'll make it so that, again, it opens and closes in a way that it slides really beautifully, which this is so freaking cool. This is so cool. I am in constant awe at the way that Lego designers are able to create these amazing things out of their mind. Like, that is so, so cool. Trust me, I was mad you guys came and went, but now I completely understand. I'm glad you completely understand, and I'm sorry that it worked out that way. I was like, I can't wait till I can tell him about this, and because we thought that show was going to air like within no time, and then they took their sweet time getting it out, and so it was like this really long time that we had to hold this stupid secret. But little things like, I really want to talk to Zach and tell him that we weren't trying to like miss him and ignore him and all this kind of stuff. Like, so sorry that we kind of ghost you, and ugh, gross. So that also tells you that even when it's like a silly little fib that you have to tell for something like that, that there can be repercussions that come from that. So thank you for being generous and kind and understanding with that too. So, all right, this is so cool. So yeah, slides open this way, slides and curves. This is so satisfying. All right, this is awesome. So definitely one that you have to pay attention to what you're building, but less technically complicated than I thought it would be, which kind of surprises me. So that's pretty cool. And now it says, oh wait, this is Mike. I said Lucas. This is Mike Wheeler. I got the names wrong. But the quote on this one says, "Something is coming, Mike Wheeler." All right. Let's do bag 4. And we'll get some of the ground floor details. Actually, no, I'm gonna pause on these bags and build out Steve's car. So we're gonna take a minute. So this is bag 20. Going a little out of order, but I want to try something different. All right. Thank you, Zach. Appreciate you. Are you planning to go to Slopes again this year? I don't think there's a Slopes Colorado, but I know that there's, well, I assume there's going to be Slopes Utah again. I'd love for there to continue to be Slopes Colorado, but I'm not sure. I haven't heard anything yet. We have come to really love Brick Slopes. It was a wonderful experience both times that we've gone to the Utah one and the one time to the Colorado one last year. Great people, great venues. I love being in and near the mountains again. Like, that's just home to me. So yeah. All right, so bag 20 starts with Steve. Okay, this hairpiece is fun. Oh, we're getting it in brown. Okay, a reddish brown. So this is the one that we saw for Tan France and silver, and we also saw it in blue in the Everyone is Awesome set. I don't know that I've seen it in brown yet. I think we also saw it in pink with Megan Rapinoe. So that's pretty cool. Let's see, does he have a torso? Here we go. And he has a flashlight. Okay, so lots of flashlights for these kiddos. I'm going to show you his 2 face prints first, and then we'll throw his face on. They are pretty subtly different. There's not a huge difference here, but and he's got a ribbed sweater underneath a nice jacket that's open, that's printed on the front and back. So I like that printing. That's pretty cool. I also really like that dark orange color. That's nice. And his other face is like an angry face, but it's not very much there. And this is the hairpiece that I was saying was the Tan France hairpiece. So nice to get that in reddish brown. I actually was looking at that for my sig fig. I was looking at the pink one the other day and debating if I should get Megan Rapinoe's pink hair for mine. But Philip said he didn't think the height made sense, the way that it like goes up. I wish they would do like the natural comb over one to be not comb over, but the natural one that just like, yeah. I wish that one came in pink or purple or magenta because that matches my hair. So I need to keep asking Matthew Ashton, make sure some of your people design something that has this, please. Because of course he would drop everything on a dime to help me with that, I'm sure. So Slopes Utah is probably on the agenda. Yay, good. I think it is for us. We haven't talked yet about our plans for next year of like which ones are for sure on the agenda, but that one we both come to really love. So that hopefully will be on the agenda. We know for sure that we're doing rodeo. We just both got our tickets right before. I saw you got yours like 30 minutes before it changed prices. And we also like, I think it was like 2 days before, barely got ours in too. So the price went up faster this year than it has in the past. And so, yeah, we wanted to make sure that we took advantage of that before it went up. So vehicle builds are not my favorite typically. I don't build a lot of sets that have them because I like character building and more like botanicals and things that are larger. But that said, I wish I had practiced vehicle builds a lot more before Lego Masters. That would have been really smart use of my time. So now I've grown to like them more, which is good. So yeah, these are interesting pieces that have these like squares with the axle holes on either side. What's up? Okay.
Are you ready for lunch?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna finish this bag or two and then hop over to lunch. Really enjoyed how you and Philip highlighted so many gay-friendly places in Salt Lake City. Thank you. That was honestly like when we travel, we like to go to places that are queer-friendly and that are supportive, both for our own benefit because you want to be in a place that you know that you belong and that people are going to support you and be nice to you, but then also because we want to support those businesses. And so when we travel, I like to showcase the places we're visiting to let people know about how great these places are. So that's something I've come to really enjoy. It's interesting because as we were traveling through Denmark, I started to feel a little bit like the content that I was sharing was a little bit more like travel vlog style. And we don't travel enough for me to like have a full separate YouTube that's just travel. Plus, a lot of our travel still involves Lego. So I felt like, you know what, I think I'm just going to share this in this way, both there and then also New York, because I think it's fun for people to see like what types of fun things we do on vacation and what types of fun things people could do if they visit these places as well. So my hope is that people still find that entertaining, even when it doesn't include Lego all the time, so that it's not just like all the time in people's feeds, but that they're not like, hey, I thought this is a Lego channel. It's like, well, it is, but also I'm a person. So yeah, we really enjoy though supporting queer-owned businesses and queer-friendly businesses, both for them to thrive, but then also for us to benefit from being in a space that's going to be welcoming and awesome. When we were in Salt Lake City that first year, we went. We explored for a week after Slopes and had a really good time. And while we were there, we met this incredible artist named, I think his name was Scott. I'll have to look it up and share more of his information. But he designed this really adorable pop art in such a unique style. And we just randomly were at a coffee shop that was a queer-owned coffee shop that we wanted to support, and his art was all over the walls. And we went and we were looking at all the art on the walls, and we went and talked to the people who were working there, and they said, yeah, the artist is right there. And he was sitting there, and he was just like chilling at a booth. And so we went over and talked to him for a little bit and got to know him a little bit. And he was so friendly and so nice, and shared some of his own personal story with us and talked about his artwork. And it was a great exchange, and we had a really good conversation with him. And then the next day, we went to get our nails done, and as we were driving to the place, we ran into him again, and he said hello and like pulled his car over to say hi and chat with us a little bit, and that was really nice to chat with him. And then he offered to show us this really cool like sculpture type art area. These two sculpture areas actually that were like historic Salt Lake City. And so we met him the next day I think we went and grabbed coffee and met him at the first place and then drove with him to the second place. But it was so fun. He gave us like a little kind of mini tour of these art places that existed. And he's like, people don't really know about these hidden gems. And he was really friendly and really nice. And it just reminded me about how good people can be and how much good there is in the world, right? We are constantly inundated with negative things all the time, and those negative things are real, and the hate that exists in the world is awful, and some of those things are really rough, but like if we spend our whole lives only focusing on that, we'll miss out on some of the good. And there's a lot more good than people realize and than people recognize. So it was a joy. It was so fun to meet him and connect with him, and it was so great to have that as part of our trip, and to hear about his experience spending a lot of his adulthood in Salt Lake City as a queer man, and how supportive he's found the place to be. So that was really, really cool. And just made the trip even better. So yeah, we had a really good time on that trip. We both have talked about wanting to get a piece of his art someday, and maybe commission something from him. So maybe one of us needs to get on that. It's been 2 years that we've talked about that. So But yeah, I love to also learn about local artists when we're in different places too, and art museums and museums in general are always really fun. So yeah, yay! Here, cheers! Cheers with my coffee mug. Here. So when you travel for the Lego conventions, do you ever like stick around and do some additional travel while you're there, or is all your time eaten up by the Lego trips? I know that it's expensive to travel, so no judgment either way, of course. But I'm curious if you ever get a chance to like just go and enjoy some of the spaces that you see too outside of the conventions or not. We don't for every convention. Usually, we've kind of done it for like one convention each year, where we've done some other fun things. So. Hello, that sounds pretty awesome. I'd love to meet some of the artists I follow on Twitter, but they all live overseas. Yeah, for sure. Also, hi, Mr. Slime Smasher, 10, Mr. Slime Smasher 101. Nice to see you. I am building out the Creel house. I don't know how long you've been joining, but good to see you here. And right now I'm working on bag 20, which is Steve's car. But I did bags 1, 2, and 3, which is pretty freaking cool to see how the designers designed it to open and move and things. So yeah. Yeah, it's really fun to meet artists in person that we've known for a while. So another example of that is when we went to Colorado for Brick Slopes, we got to meet my friend from Instagram, who her handle there is Chewbecca Creates. She is a graphic designer and artist and does really fun stickers and clothing and other fun toys. If you and actually really fun like desktop gifts and things for people. So if you have some people that you want to shop for, she's a great one to look at her stuff online for like stocking stuffers and other ideas. And then also, if you love pop art, I would recommend checking out Scott's stuff. So I need to get his information again to make sure that I have all of his information handy and can share that with y'all, because his stuff is really cool too. So his caricatures work was just really fun, and it was all pop art caricatures of different characters that we all know from different references across pop culture. So really fun. Let's see. Here we go. So yeah, with Vico builds, it's not my typical go-to, so it's nice to get a chance to try something a little bit different every once in a while. So one pet peeve I have, and this is especially with the darker colors, is you can see the registration mark on this. So that's like well, I think you can see my fingernail covering it up. There we go. Look in that middle piece. There's like that little white dot or speck. That is where the molds hold on to the pieces when they're moving them through the machines and such. And it drives me nuts because it disrupts the color, and especially on dark red, it's very visible. Also on black, it can be very visible. So some of the darker colors, it's more obvious. And some colors, you don't notice it really at all, which is nice. But I always try to hide those within the build if I can. And in this case, the piece that is being used for it, it can't really be hidden in there. It has to be facing that way. So it's a bummer for me, and that's okay. It's not a big deal. I have to remind myself it's not a big deal. So, what sets, Mr. Slime Smasher 101, what sets are you most excited about that have been revealed for January? Are there any that are on your wish list or whatnot, or just sets in general, I guess, too? We have been thrilled about the Stranger Things reveal, and obviously that was like one that we were thrilled and could not wait for. But also the CMFs. I am so excited about those. They are adorable, absolutely adorable. And I love that they did an entire collection of just animal characters. Like those costumes are just too fun. Too fun. let's see. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap up this build of the car, and then I'm going to take a break and head to lunch for a little bit. And I might go live again later to build a little bit more on this, but I'm noticing my stomach's growling. It's past time for us to do lunch normally here, and also I like to try and have lunch with Philip when I can, when he's on break from his meetings and such. So we'll get through this car. Looks like it might be 2 bags worth, but we'll get through that and then sign off for a bit. All right. So I like the dark red color in general. It to me has also been a little bit like brittle brown, where it's broken a number of times over the years, and so I haven't experienced that as much in more recent sets. But I hope that's fixed, because I know that was an issue that I was experiencing with the red, but then also, of course, with the reddish brown. And I'm curious as to why. Like, it must be something with the chemicals used in the dyes for those colors, because it was only those colors that were having those problems. Although my friend Harrison, who is the Blue Knight, I think, on Instagram, he shared a picture of like a minifig that had white legs, where like the leg piece had broken off completely. It wasn't just removed; it was like snapped, and it was something where it was like a brittle piece, and it was weird to see. I'd never seen that happen before. So I asked him, like, "Is that a new set?" And he said it was one. It was one of those pods, an Ninjago pod, and he built it before, put the minifigure inside the pod, and just left it there. And then when he went to take it out, it was snapped. Um, which was alarming to see. So it made me wonder, like, was that like put in a lot of heat, like up in an attic or something? I want to know more, because it's not normal, not typical to see. Right. So yeah, the Stranger Things, this is one that I am so impressed with. It was so cool to see it at Fan Media Days, and I just thought, I can't wait to get the build experience of this, because it's definitely one that teaches us some really cool techniques and stuff. How has the weather been in Austin? Any chance for a white Christmas this year? Oh, that's so mean. Just kidding. It's cool enough that I can wear a hoodie, so that's nice. We've had some great weather this week, which has been wonderful. So it's been quite beautiful lately. But I think it's supposed to be back up to the 70s later this week. And I just miss cold. I used to hate cold weather when I was younger, but now that I live in a place where it's like exorbitantly hot all the freaking time, I need it. I need that change. It's something that I think is healthy for your body to go through the seasons and experience the changing weather. So hopefully it stays nice for a while. We've been getting, when we got snow the last handful of years, it was always during a winter ice storm that would happen in the, why is this not fitting? I did something wrong. What did I miss? Okay. I missed this piece. Anyway, it was always during the ice storms that we got, and those were in February, which was always right around my birthday, which is not fun. The first year that we moved into this house, we bought this house in the end of the year, and our closing date was, I think, January 31st, maybe. And so we moved. Why isn't this going on? Whoa. Okay, that's weird. I've not seen this before where they do this, but in this set, the Lego math doesn't add up to where you see that gap that's right there. We're actually just hiding it. That's interesting. Usually I feel like they find a way to make the Lego math work, but this time it's like a hidden little surprise. Which, that's how I build. If I can't get it all to work, I like to try and disguise it if possible. So kudos to them. But yeah, don't typically expect to see that in Lego sets. So anyhow, yeah, the ice storms were always around the time, and it was awful and cold and miserable and power outage and all that kind of stuff. So while it was fun to have some snow for a little bit, it also was quickly not fun anymore. So I would love like a mild winter with a little bit of snow flurries and things, as opposed to like a disaster. But yeah, we'll see, I guess. You never really know what the way the weather goes these days. But yes, it's been very nice to have it be a little bit chilly again, especially because like I had just swapped out all of my winter clothes, and so I had my hoodies and sweaters and things. And when we went to New York, it was amazing. The weather was perfect, and we loved it. And then we came back, and it was so hot. All right, this says these bumper elements were originally created as Lego night shields. So it's just those. Which now I have a bunch of these in all different colors from that Lego project I did for the Wicked thing. So I got them for part of the project that we ended up not using, which was a really interesting part of that project, was getting to build things that ended up, after multiple iterations, being changed into not being used in the final product. And I learned a ton through that, but also gained some additional pieces for my backlog. So now I've got some additional pieces that I can use in future builds. So. All right, we are coming up to a stopping point, it looks like. Let me flip this around. Okay, here's another example of that. Registration mark showing on the set. So I'm flipping this around to where it's hidden. This can either go up or down. And I'm putting it in a way that, I don't know if you can see that on the black, but there's right below my fingernails, there's a little white speck on either side of that. But I'm going to put it so that it's face down so you don't even notice it. All right. Interesting way to build the bumper, and also works for Steve's car. It's like really fun shaping. All right, just a little bit more on his car, and then we're done for a little bit. All right, let's see. So also my fingernails have gotten a little bit longer to where it's harder to pick up pieces. So that's been a new journey. I need to get them, I need to go and get them professionally done again, because the way that they were done is with gel, and to get that removed, I like to get it removed professionally so that I'm not destroying my nails. But usually when I do, then I get them to do the gel again, and I think I'm going to stop and just go back to regular paint so that I can do it myself, because it's cheaper. And also I have a lot of fun colors that I like to use, so it's kind of fun to get to do them myself again. Okay, let's see. So this is going to go... so here we have mirrors that are cheese wedge mirrors. It's always interesting to see different ways to do things. So here we're using a cheese wedge and a clip, and there's a little one of those pieces that has the little rod sticking out of the top. So that's where this clip clips on, and they're using the back side of the cheese wedges for the mirrors. So interesting approach. And then we've got the windshield, and it's the same on the front and back design. At the top, so I like that this makes a low profile car, and also looks very much like Steve's car, which if I remember correctly, I thought it was kind of rusted, but maybe I'm wrong. But if it's rusted, I would have liked for them to add some wear and tear on this. We'll have to check when we're watching more of season 5 to see how his car looks and if it's in good shape. But yeah, for some reason I was thinking it was a little bit dingy. All right, and then we have the hubcaps and wheels. Okay. So we made a decent dent in this. We got through 4 bags out of 22. So on our way, here's Steve's car. It's pretty sleek. I do like the use of those Nexonite shield type shape pieces for the bumper. It makes a really unique shape that works really well for this retro car. I'm liking the license plate detail and the way that they did the lights on the back as well as the front for the bumper. It all looks really good, and I think it's a nice low profile and fits him too. And again, to remind you, here is Steve. So here's our buddy that we got that came with his bag. That was bag 20. And I'm going to set this one aside, and we will continue later with the rest of this, but I want to show you where we're at so far with the build too. So this is bags 1 through 3. And as you can see, builds out some really sleek and amazing moving pieces. So really interesting ways to put all that together. So looking forward to continuing that as well. I think I'm going to take a break because it's been 2 hours. Thank you so much for joining. This has been a lot of fun, and it's been nice to get to spend some time with y'all. So again, that was what we built out of the main set. I'll also show you, here's the gift of purchase that we have. This is the Squawk, and we get the amazing lobby. We get Hopper and oh my gosh, I lost her name, the mom. And then we have the inside of the booth as well, with some great stickers for this one too. So really nice gift of purchase that'll be coming with the set as well. But yeah, thanks again for Car Speed Builder. Thanks. It helps having the instructions and not a ton of pieces. So definitely not like the one that we built in Colorado, right? That was intense. All right. Gonna take a break though. Gonna have some lunch with my husband. Thanks again for joining. This was fun. Once we have the full build up, I'll do some more review content to show you some of the cool pieces that we learned in this. We didn't get to the word game, so I'll come back to that. And again, I'll try it out where I can do both from Instagram and YouTube at the same time to test that out. But again, thanks for joining. Good to see y'all. As always, build kindness. Bye, friends.